Hello, everyone. Welcome to a new Kula Brajana Europe Online. After a whole month of, it feels like 2 months. It was 2 months? Okay, yeah, we did take a holidays. First time we did, we do that, and it feels very strange to have taken some time off, but I think it was needed. So let's begin with our presentation that by now I'm sure everybody knows. Kula Brajana, what does Brajana mean? The meaning of our meetings, right, is to create a space for every Anusara teacher to come together and share our knowledge. And the meaning of the word Brajana is either illuminating the Kula or allowing the light of the Kula to shine. So, as I said, it's a space for each one of us to share, talk, interchange ideas, and anything that is related to our Kula. Our group, our team is a volunteer group from different places in Europe. Julia, our host, our speaker today, is the country coordinator from Germany. Then we also have Lea Klein from the Netherlands, Ulrich, who is here today as well from the Scandinavia area, Estela from Spain, and myself, the country coordinator of Austria. We are based, or we got inspired from the wonderful work that Lisa Long and Madhuri Martin in the States were doing with the Samudra Shakti. And after seeing their work, we got inspired and we decided to do it as well in Europe, so more European friendly time zone. As I always say, if you like our work, if you want to continue seeing things coming from our school, please contribute to the Anusara School of Hatha Yoga, the school that is our hub. Today, super excited to present my dear friend by now, Julia Schlenker from Germany, experienced certified Anusara teacher. What can one say about Julia that nobody knows? I don't know. She's just amazing. Whatever she says that she's going to do, she's going to do it. She's the country coordinator, as I said, from Germany, but she is also a mentoring. She is also very involved volunteer, amazing person at the school. So Julia today will talk to us about the feed, which is very funny and it's very exciting because we will start this at least September, October, November. We are going to offer some kind of therapeutic approaches to some skills that you can use to teach. As we see, Julia had shared a poll, so please go ahead and answer it. And I will stop sharing my screen so then we can let Julia present.
Thank you very much, Letizia. How lovely. I'm going to give you a few minutes, or not a few minutes, a few seconds to answer this. And because if you answer the question about the language, we can create breakout rooms from your answers. Amazing. So only one person answered so far, right? Okay, maybe while you do this, I can already start a little bit. Well, we have this application or therapeutic applications for Anusara Yoga handout, and we had trainings in this, and I had the feeling that the people or the teachers who took it, they learned so much themselves from it. But when it came to teaching all the good stuff, some of them had quite some problems, even the more experienced teachers. So I thought, well, how would you feel as a beginner, as a new teacher, then to teach anatomy or even advanced alignment to your classes? How can you take this big pool of knowledge that is there for all of us and helps us be great teachers? Yeah, how can you take this and bring it to your like very, very normal students who are not teachers? And maybe you feel even intimidated to teach anatomy in class. So what I came up with is I'm gonna well, just teach you a little bit about our principles in the feet and in the lower legs. And then I'm going to do some teaching drills with you and yeah, probably even answer questions, of course, so that you get an idea just by the actions you can do in your foot, how they are always applied, no matter in what position your foot is in. If it's like, well, you'll see there are different ways to place your feet. And it'll just be very repetitive. That's what drills are for. So that you really remember what I was talking about or what we were talking about, and you can apply it in class with a little yeah, experience, so to say. So it's only 7 who answered. Can everybody see this this poll? No? Okay, I'm still gonna end it now. Okay, let's see. German 6, English 1. That's it. And the rest I'm gonna look at the rest later. Cool, thank you. Okay, so let me share the handout I sent you, unless you signed up during like the last 4 minutes. If you did this, I had no time to share it with you again from my mobile. Can somebody please send Stella the link to this meeting? Okay. So this is a new feature by Zoom. To step aside a little bit. Can you all read the stuff that's written there? Is it big enough? Cool. Lovely. Love it. Okay, so let me talk a little bit about the anatomy of the feet first, and then this will take maybe 10 minutes, maybe a little less, and then we're going to look at different poses and different forms the foot can be in. So one thing that is quite important to me and to my teachers is the difference between our first principle where it says set the foundation, and something that my teacher Adam Ballinger always said, that is do your foundation. And that is more about second principle, like muscular energy. So when we first set up our feet, it's more about the placement, like how wide are they, how are they turned in or out. And then it's more of this first principle feeling of releasing down in a plumb line, in a Melot, yeah, the weight releasing downward and opening up with the breath. So that's more about first principle. And the anatomy behind the, sorry, a little messed up with German. The anatomy behind the placement would be, as you know, the middle of your ankle, of course, and the second toe mount. Just to let you know, if you say the second toe, it's not very accurate. If you say second toe mount, it's really like the base joint, das Grundgelenk of your second toe. And then when you start working with your feet and you're going to use muscles, then it's more about building these arches and rooting down, spreading the toes, and really building up the 4 corners. And the 4 corners are like the points where the arches come down into the floor. And here you can see, for example, this transversal arch, this first painting here. A is like really spread. So you see that the big toe and the small toe, they are on the ground. The rest of it is a little lifted. This one here is quite collapsed. And the whole foot, of course, also has this longitudinal arch from front to the heel. So you can try, oh, let's do this later. Let's go on with this. So here we have just the bones and no joints in between. Of course, there are these gaps where the joints are, but you see most of the bones. And I don't want you to remember all the Latin words for all the bones, and you don't need to remember all the muscle names as well, but you need to know if they are like in the front of the foot or the shin, or on the outside, on the back, or on the inside, for example. So the bones that are quite interesting and important is the tibia or shin bone, Schienbein. That's like the big one coming down. This is a right foot here, das rechter Fuß. Yeah, so it's on the inside. And it also comes down onto this bone here, the talus or talus, in the inner ankle, what we call the inner ankle. And this out here, on the outside here, is the outer ankle, and that's the fibula. This little bone coming down here, or we call it calf bone, Wadenbein in German. Yeah, then you have the tarsal bones. This is the ankle bone, this one here, talus, and the heel bone, das Fersenbein. And then, of course, all the small bones that build up, like the middle of the foot and the toes, of course. When it comes to the joints, we have like what we call the proper or the true ankle joint. That's the one up here. And this one makes the foot go into like what we call flex or point. Yeah, it's both flexion, but you can call it flex and point in common language. And then you have a lower ankle joint as well. That's more down here. And this one makes the foot go to the sides, like sickling or unsickling. And the combination of both is what makes the foot like go around into all directions, so to say. It's always a combination of the two directions. When we do something like shins in, for example, and we're engaging the muscles that are on the outside of the foot, you can see that. It's a little different on my screen than in real. Let me click this away. Sorry, 1 second. Like this, yeah. So when we do shins in, we engage the outer muscles of the foot and lift the outer edges of the foot up so that the inner edge of the foot here presses down more firmly. Yeah, that would be eversion. That's a typical action muscles perform, even when the foot is on the ground and the outer edges are not actually lifting. It's still muscle engagement on the outside of the lower leg. Okay, the muscles you need to remember or need to know is like the front of the shin bone, this one. Or you need to know that there are muscles on the front of the shin, and they, of course, they lift the foot up. When the heel is on the ground, the front of the foot comes up, and then you have two muscles on the outside, and they do this. What I was talking about here, this eversion movement, this unsickling of the foot. So it's on the outside. Then you have two muscle groups on the back in your wade, in your calf. Also important to know. And there should be some muscles here, the fourth group, like on the inside of the foot. I didn't mention those because the inside of the foot, or let's say these three muscles I was just talking about, on the front, on the outside, and on the back, they all have an effect on the ankle, and we always want to move the ankle in some direction, like bringing it back into midline when it is tilted to the side, or bend it forward, or tilted forward or tilted backwards. So all these foot muscles that build your arches, especially the one from your big toe to the inner heel, if these muscles that build up the arch from within the foot, if they lift up, they lift the inner ankle. So it's more like a pushing upward of the inner ankle than a pulling upward of the inner foot line. Is that clear so far? So we have three muscles in the front, on the outside, and the back, and then we have the foot muscles from underneath that lift the inner edge of the ankle up if needed, amongst other very important jobs they have to do. Okay, and then of course there's lots of fascia in the foot or in the sole of the foot. And all this fascia is moved and activated from muscles that are not in the foot, but that are in the lower leg. Going to look at these later. Okay, why am I telling you about these muscles on the outside of the lower leg? The most important thing that you need to remember when it comes to the ankle and to stabilizing the ankle and your foundation is that we want balanced actions, not just in the rest of our body, but also around our lower leg. We don't want the back of the lower leg be more strong or stronger or more active than the front. Then our foot wouldn't be able to do a good ankle loop, for example. Or if the outer legs are weak, like the outer sides of the shins, then our ankle would drop out to the side. If our arches are flat and weak, it will roll inward. So we really want to stabilize the ankle joint from all four sides. So that means that sometimes we need more action on one side to balance out the other actions or the other strengths, so to say. Okay. Then ankle loop, of course, is it's like our first loop when we start with. It's if we do a proper ankle loop and really root down the backs of our heels into the ground as well, it brings more stretch or more organic energy into the calf, where usually we have lots of energy, like our calf muscles mostly have a lot of tension, shortly said. And ankle loop also lifts up the arch as well. We need to do actions to lift the arch to do ankle loop, so to say. I'm going to get back to this later. And if you wonder what, like the spreading of the toes, or not just the toes, also the spreading of the front foot, so to say, all these bones that go through the foot to the toes, what this is for, it's like creating the arch that goes from side to side. And you could also call this an action of organic energy. So it's still very active, but it makes the foot wider away from the midline. Okay, so that's like the basic anatomy that we're going to apply soon. So let's do a little warm-up practice for our feet. So if you sit like on a sofa, maybe you should get up a little taller and maybe free your feet at least. And one one exercise I really love is drawing the alphabet with our feet. Maybe we can start and do half of it with the right foot and the other half with the other one. So you can enter, oh gosh, my English. You can like cross your legs. So if you sit so that one foot is free, and then maybe even place your hands around your lower leg so that you feel muscles work, and then start to draw the alphabet with your feet and really go slow and go to the very, very corners of the letters, the einzelnen Buchstaben. Start with an A, go to the B. And if you look at your lower leg or at your foot as well, you will see that there are all kinds of movements and all kinds of directions your foot can go to. So switch the legs, take the other foot, even though you might not have come until the M. And maybe there will be some, what is knacken in English? If a joint is
Crackings.
cracking.
Crackings.
Oh, oh, there are some crackings in the ankle. So I tried to do this for a video. I tried to do this the whole alphabet, and afterwards I couldn't finish it because my calf muscles, the muscles on my outer shin, were so like exhausted. Do you feel this? Maybe I should show it as well for the video. Oh, nice. Yeah. And for example, if you use your big toe and you go like from the A, you go into the lower right corner, you will see that this is a combination of a little, even a little turning, a sickling. Yeah. And if you go to the other corner, it's like an unsickling, what I was talking about. So that's a great exercise to teach to students and to make them remember this exercise. Because sometimes students, you tell them to spread the toes and pull the outer edge of the little toe out to the side or so, and they just don't know how to do it. And you could say like, well, do the horizontal line of the A and bring it a little more out to the side, for example. Okay, then I would like you to stand up, or stand up probably. And I'm going to teach you something I learned from Ellen Saltonstall about the four corners, and that's, well, I'm going to stay it. And it's not the order you are used to, but it's the following order. So place your feet and then push down the big toe mount. That's the corner number 1. And from there, don't go to the inner heel, but go to the outer heel. So push these 2 spots down and then go to the inner heel and cross all the way over to the little toe mount. Also vom Großzehengrundgelenk zur Außenferse, zur Innenferse und zum Kleinzehengrundgelenk. Do you feel if you create these 2 or this X, do you feel that there is like a dome, wie so ein Dach, was sich anhebt? The arches lift a little bit? Is it different from what you taught before? Okay. Maybe just go over it later. If you teach about the spirals, you should stay in the order because that would mix up everything. But just to make the foot very active, it's a good try. Okay. Foot shrinking is and doming is a good exercise as well. It's when you I'm going to skip this though now. It's when you try to pull the front of the foot in, maybe like this. Yeah, and you claw your toes down and you really shrink the foot, so just that you engage the intrinsic muscle. Intrinsic muscles means that these are muscles that are actually located within the foot area and not on the calf or on the lower leg. Okay, so For ankle loop would be a good idea to, if you don't want to do it now, if you are in downward facing dog, and just root the heel back and down. And then you can even try, if your heel is rooted, like walking the dog would be dynamic movements. And if you root it down, then make your folks or your students or yourself push down the toes as well, and you will feel more ankle flexion if the toes are pushed down as well, because of the arch that is building up and pushing the ankle up and back from these intrinsic muscles as well. I'm gonna look at this later. Okay, Uttanasana, with something underneath the front of the foot to do more flexion in the ankle is a good idea as well, just to make the flexion deeper. Okay, so to activate, okay, question, those who have their cameras on. All right, let me see if I can make this bigger. I just hope you're not on the recording. So doing active ankle loop, like pushing the heel down, like we did, which kind of muscles support this? What would you say? Is it muscles that work in the front of the shin or in the back of the shin, if you root your heel down? Who is for front of shin? Who is for the back of the shin? Working, okay, so we're working calf muscles to do ankle loop. Is that your answer? Okay, stand up or place your feet on the ground, and then lift your heels up and come onto tippy toes and lower back down. Just lift up like a relevé in ballet and lower back down. Maybe even do it on one leg, on the other leg, or stay up. So lifting the heels up is like the opposite of ankle loop, right? Would you agree? So which muscles work if you come up on your tippy toes? Is it in the front or in the back of the lower legs? Front? Who's for front? No? Back? Calf muscles? Okay. So if you come up, it's the calf muscles, right? And if you push your heel down and lift the front of the foot, it's the front of the lower legs. Okay, so doing an active ankle loop and really do lots of flexion. What we call dorsiflexion is when the foot is what we call flex in common language. Dorsiflexion is front of shins. And if we come on tippy toes, that would be your calves in the back. That's what we call plantar flexion. But fine. Okay. Good. Julia didn't really teach this warm up. We can do this. We can do this together after this. But what is always important for me when we set up is spreading toes and rooting the toes down. So really pushing the toes down and activating the foot muscles below the foot. And then especially rooting down the big toe and also the big toe mount, because this is like the anchor point for all the arches we talked about when I said, well, arch from the big toe mount to the outer heel, for example. Yeah, this is like the big arch we start with, and so big toe mount, very important. And then, of course, quite important to engage front and outer shin as well as the back or the inside or the sole of the foot. So those are quite important things. Okay, so now what I want you to do is let me start with the first one. And let me teach this. So how would I teach, or what you learned to teach is, well, take your feet parallel and something with like a foot in between, right? So you don't know exactly how wide your feet should be. This is very basic stuff, but I learned that not everybody knows this. So feet parallel means that the middle of your heel and your second toe mount are in one line. What I do in a beginner's course, I make them draw lines on their feet, and then I'm trying to break these two lines parallel. And how far apart? Well, if you want to explain it to your students and you talk about hip width distance, also Hüftbreit, it's not your outer hips right here. It's your hip joints, and your hip joints are like in the middle of your groins, in der Mitte der Leisten, like here. Or, also you can show these places here, or you could make them feel or imagine their sitting bones, also Sitzbeinhöcker. They're also as wide as the hip joints. So that would be parallel and hip joint width distance apart. And then if they place them further apart, say, no, not your outer hips, middle of your groins, or Hüftgelenksbreit would be the German word, hip joint width distance apart. Okay, so now outer hips, you could say middle of groins, sit bones. Or you could say 1 foot between the feet, which is almost the same. Okay, and then really make them touch or show them what you mean by middle of ankle. Go into this little hole in the middle, in the front of the ankle, and show them where the basal joint of your second toe is, not the toe itself, but the joint. Okay. And when you teach for corners, they need to find these four corners. So why do I want to have them lift their toes? If you lift the toes, maybe if you do it right now when you're sitting, lift the toes and spread the toes. And what is very prominent then is the big toe mount, right? If somebody tells you, no, different question. If I lift my toes up, do you feel that your arch underneath the foot also lifts up? Can you feel that? Or can you see it? Yeah, this lifting up doesn't come from muscles in the sole of the foot. It comes from the pulling of the toes, which is completely different. So when you pull the big toes or all the toes up towards the shin bone, like lifting your toes, you're using muscles that are on front or on top of the foot or in the front of the shins, right? So it's very on top, but you want to engage the arches that are underneath. You want to use these muscles underneath the foot. So lift the toes, spread them, put them back down onto the ground, and then push your toes down. Really, it's hard to do this when you're sitting, but when you're standing, you really have the capacity to push down hard. And then you will feel that the arch will also lift up, but from underneath. Can you feel that? Yeah. So why should we lift the toes up? There are so many teachers who teach a good arch just by lifting the toes. It's true that it looks like an arch, but it's a fake arch. I'm teaching lifting the toes so that I have space for my toes to be spread so that they don't get stuck on the mat. You know, I'm just lifting them so that there is space to spread them out. Then I'm putting them down, staying spreaded, and then I'm letting them push down. That's totally different than just pulling the toes up. If somebody says to you, well, I have flat feet, on German Plattfuß, well, flat feet, I think it's in English, Plattfüße. I can't build an arch. You can make them lift their toes up, and then the arch will come up. So this is like proof that there is the possibility for the bones and the muscles in your foot to build this arch. So it's just a proof, and then but make them do it by pushing down the toes so that the arch lifts up with muscular energy and not just pulling energy, so to say. Okay. Then you've got like the big toe mount found. If you lift the toes, it's quite prominent. And then you're going to root the inner heel. And in order to build the arch out to the side of the foot, have them spread the two little toes. Yeah, if they spread out to the side, and then you bring down the little toe mount. This is like the third corner. That's a good advice. And then just the outer heel. So it's these four corners, but with like really spread arches in between. I wouldn't, when I have somebody stand in Tadasana, with the Western bodies we have here and lots of well, legs turned out and stuff like that, I wouldn't make them in Tadasana push down the outer heel. If they do this, usually it's too much outer rotation in the legs or in the hips occurring. I would say push down the big toe mount, the inner heel, then spread out the little toes and push this toe mount down, and then just feel that there's like a fourth corner of the foot. Do you get me? Because if you push this down hardly, it's most of the times the ankle will roll out, the leg will roll out too much. Okay. Oh, it's written down here. So lift the toes to reduce the friction of the mat. Okay. Good. So, so the first pose would be Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. And I want you to really quickly teach to have the feet placed parallel and how wide. Find words. What it means, parallel. What does it mean to be hip joint width apart? Right? So explain about the middle of the ankle and the second toe mount, and then make your students spread your toes, and at least feel like the big toe mount and the small toe mount, and then try to maintain this and root like the heel on both sides down evenly as well. Yeah. And then probably have them try to, even in downward facing dog, have them try to push the toes down and feel the difference in the ankle joint. If they just have the toes normally flat and push them down as well. Why push them down? So that the arch of the foot lifts up, and and push the ankle joint up, so that you will have more ankle joint, and the ankle joint will ground more into the ground, and you have more stretch on the back of the calves. Okay, so teach hip width parallel, so spreading, and then the pushing down of the toes. Second pose, we'll do these two together. A lunge would be just one foot. And it's a little different because the back foot the heel will be higher than in downward facing dog. It might even be vertical. So you do the same actions in the toes and in the front of the foot, in the placement. And then, yeah, you need to find some words how to extend the heel, where to expand it. Okay. Yeah, these are two very easy poses. I'm going to put you into, gosh, it's so bright. into breakout rooms, and we're going to do this. Maybe one person can teach both. Teach both. So let's do this in pairs, and then have 1 minute per pose. So it would be 4 minutes for teaching and another one for switching. So 5 minutes. Okay. I'm gonna stop this first, and then Letizia, are you quick with breakout rooms? Oh, I've got it. Okay, so let's see. Oh, no, that's bad. Sorry. Let's do this again. So how do you, how many are we? 1, 2, 3, 4, 12, 6 rooms. Okay, go. Oh, everybody is in room number 1, is that correct? I'm gonna stop the recording.
Did you spot yourself again?
Oh, yeah, you're right. Okay. So I just read in the chat that some folks were leaving because they couldn't follow along the English. Just a thumbs up or thumbs down. How did it go? Those who were here, who tried? Did you? Is that a? Who's that? Julia? Okay, can probably the other person. So if you're talking about yourself and your own teaching, so what would the other person say? Did your teacher, did she just teach what she was supposed to do? Teach the placement, the spreading? Yeah? Sorry, I have to. That's fine as well, isn't it? Okay, can see you better. Okay, it's getting quite late, so I'm going to speed up just one more couple of poses. So in the handout you have Sukhasana there. I'm not going to do this, but Sukhasana is a brilliant pose to teach these activations of the shins in, and the not sickling, you know, just by pressing down the outer edge of your little toe, or the outer edge of the foot, the front foot, and watch the heel and the shin come up away from the floor, which is towards midline. So the last two couples, or the last two poses in a couple, it's Vashisthasana and Parshvakonasana. And I would like to teach you Parshvakonasana, so that you can follow along. And if then there is time for me to teach you Vashisthasana as well, I'm going to do this as well, just to speed it up a little bit. So listen and take some notes and answer questions afterwards, probably. So what is specific about these poses is that the foot is not a Tadasana foot, but it's a sickled foot in one of the two poses, and it's the opposite of a sickled foot in one of the poses. So quiz question to everybody. You know what sickling means, right? Well, yeah, sickling. So which of the two poses has a sickled foot in the back leg? Who would say it's Vashisthasana? I don't see everybody at the same time. Who would say it's Parshvakonasana? Okay, who has no opinion so far? Okay, so let me. This wasn't planned. Ah, perfect.
Put the chair to the side, please.
Okay, imagine this is my back foot. You know, the other foot is somewhere out here. So right now, this, do you still hear me? Is that okay? Yeah. So right now it's like a neutral Tadasana foot. And now that I move here, the sole of my foot is not facing the same direction as my leg, which would be this, but is like this a little bit, right? So there is more organic energy. Come down here. There is more organic energy in the outside of the foot, and more more shortening or muscular energy just by the form of the pose on the inner side of the foot. So we are doing sickling, and if we have to do this because the pose requires it, because we want our feet on the ground, you know, and not in space, we need to sickle really, really well. Maybe you can all come into, not into Parshvakonasana, but into a wide stand, like as if you wanted to go into Prasarita Paduttanasana. Okay. And then place your feet parallel so that the middle of your ankle is still in one line with your second toe mount. And of course it will look different because your shin bones are somewhere else. They are inside of your ankle right now. They're at an angle. So root down through the big toe mount, lift your toes, spread your toes, and then bring your toes down, all the toes. Press down your big toe and anchor through the inner heel as well. And then try to lift the outer edges of your feet up a little bit, just a little bit. Spread the little toes until you feel a good engagement on the outer side, outside of the lower leg. Bend your knees a little bit. And then widen your thighs, widen your knees until you feel that the outer edges of the feet come down a little closer to the ground, just by widening the thighs. Yeah, that's shins in, thighs out. And you will feel that the feet are a little more on the ground, even on the outside now. So you don't have to do this bending and the widening with the thighs. You don't have to do that. You can also just engage a little more through the inner edge of the foot, big toe mount, inner heel. Lift the toes, spread the toes, and especially spread the outer toes, the outer small toes. And just imagine that you wanted to lift the outer edge of your foot. And then turn one foot out, I don't mind which one, and bend this knee so that you go into Parshvakonasana pose, and just feel that the ankle of the back foot changes. Yeah, there's more of this sickling, but you can still engage the muscles on the outside of the foot by spreading the toes, spreading the two little toes, and imagining to pull up the outer edge of your foot. Is that clear so far? It's not, it's different than just letting the foot stand there, bending, because if it just stands, your ankle will roll out to the side and the shin bone will move out to the side, and you will get a huge, huge stretch on the outside of your ankle. And we don't want this. We already have some more length there. We want this length to be controlled and engaged as well. Okay, and the other pose would be, maybe you can do this while you're sitting and imagining you have Vashisthasana, so side plank, or maybe just do it on your table or something. And if you are really low to the ground, with your shoulders, and you're like in a plank, like this low to the ground, of course you won't be able to bring the whole sole of your foot down to the ground. That would be, you would break your ankle probably. It's not doable. But still, you can engage your foot, spread your toes, and root down with the inner edge of your foot, of the back foot, towards the ground. And don't let the inner edge of the foot move away from the ground, and let your shin move towards the ground. Can you imagine what I'm saying? So I'm going this way. This foot is important. And the more I would go down, the inner edge of the foot comes up, right? If I don't press these 2 points here towards the floor, what would happen at some point would be the opposite. It would move away from the floor, and the shin bone here would move out to the side, and I would end up with a sickled, very, very weak lower leg again. So the action in Vashisthasana is also rooting the big toe mount, at least the big toe mount, towards the floor, maybe even pressing the big toe down, and then trying to make the foot as wide as possible. Of course, you can't really spread the little toes because you're like standing on them, but try to engage the muscles as if you wanted to spread the toes. Yeah, I'm sorry, it's 20 past 9. I totally lost time, I'm sorry. So we're not going to practice this now. But I would still like to give you some time, if you have some time, and if you have questions, to ask questions. And yeah, this would be something to do like in a workshop, probably with some more time and people seeing each other and looking at their bodies. There's only Spanish in the chat. So did some questions come up? Please just speak. And if your question was what I was talking about because you didn't understand any English, then please tell me as well. No questions?
I have a question, Julia.
Thank you.
I did not really understand in down dog. Do you put your feet completely on the floor?
No,
in down dog?
I can't. I
Okay,
don't.
but
I
would
don't.
you?
I said do the actions like in the front part of the foot, especially even with a big toe, and then reach the inner and the outer heel towards the floor equally.
Towards the floor. Okay.
Yeah.
Then I misunderstood it. Okay, because
yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, we were talking about this in the breakout group. If you place the foot on the floor in down dog, and that most of the people can't do it, and in my opinion it doesn't look good in the ankle, so I'm not teaching this anyway.
What you can try to, what I'm working on with my ankle mobility, because I'm very stiff in my ankles. I can't do Malasana, for example. This is the goal for next year for me. Try the pushing down with the toes. It'll change something in your ankle as well. Maybe put something underneath your heel, so you don't have that high degree or that small degree of flexion, or the ankle is a little, the angle is a little bigger, but you still have something to press into, and then try to press the heel down or towards the floor, and then push the toes down as well, and you'll feel some more lift from underneath. Try.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
I would love to have I would love to have my heels down in downward dog. I dream about this every 2 months or so. Yeah. Something else? No? Do you want me to ask you questions and call you out? No. Okay, so you will get, or you got my handout, and if you look at it and you have more specific questions, please reach out. I would love to. I'm going to share this on social media as well, not the handout, but the recording, and please ask questions underneath or in our group, in like the German Cooler group or so. I can discuss this all in German again if you want to, or if you need to. So please reach out. And at the end of my handout, I also placed an offer for mentoring and for defining teaching skills, of course, in German as well, or in English, like in a bundle. So you can take a look at this as well. And talking about money, honestly, we have in our presentation, we have this PayPal thingy there. And I think hardly nobody ever donates anything. So I just wanted to mention this again. If you want to honor our time we're putting into this, we're having costs as well. And if it's just our software or hosting or whatever. So if you have some spare dollars or euros, it would be lovely to donate. I'm going to send you after this the recording link this time and the Facebook link as well. And it would be lovely if the school got some money as well, some donations. It's a small one. That would be lovely. Letizia.
Before we say goodbye, we have to say thank you, Julia, so much. This was a wonderful presentation, like always. I always enjoy learning, and there's always something to learn from each other. So this is just great. I have to invite everybody for next month. I will be presenting this time. So we keep with this therapeutic idea, and this time I will give some ideas of how to work around the knees, the knee, anything related with knee issues. Most of us who teach, we do the teacher training with perfect students, with perfect students like us, and then we get out to teach normal, regular people. And I do not know you, but I teach here in Austria, and there are a huge amount of population with knee issues. So next month, October 5th, I believe I think it is, we will be at 8 p.m. like normal time. I will teach in English. Of course, if there are questions in Spanish, I can reply. October 6th, sorry, it's not the 5th, it's the 6th. But German is not my strength yet. I keep trying to learn German, but still not. As Julia was, or maybe she was not mentioning, we are always open for you to present, as Julia showed in this, it was not the survey, but this poll that she shared at the very beginning. It was something, there was a part that says if you want to come and present. So to present, you can go there, you can scan it with your handy, or go to the website of Anusara Yoga KBO, and then you look for presenting. as we keep asking and we keep reminding, any amount is helpful. So if you go with your handy again into this QR code, you go directly to the donation page of our school. Very easy. If you can do, I think you can do PayPal. I think you can put credit card, whatever goes well. This is it for this month. Once again, I say thank you so much for everybody who made it to the meeting. Thank you so much for our wonderful Julia. As always, it's been a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much and see you all next month, October 6th. I'll be working with Denise. Julia, any other? How can we stay in contact with you? Are you doing more retreats, events, something? Events. Invitation, Benelux, November 16th, 17th.
Yeah.
Julia and I are going. Benelux in Belgium. It will be awesome. A small meeting on our Kula in Belgium, November 16 and 17. More info on the website, anusarayoga.com. Julia, any other ways of staying connected with you?
Well, just the normal. Right now, I just came back from a retreat. You can reach me as part of this organization team here, julia.schlenkert@gmail.com. And we have WhatsApp groups. Most of the viewers are from Germany, so I'm in a group. So right now, I don't have any retreat coming up. But thank you very much for joining and for working a little bit with me. See you soon. Good night.
Good night. Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye.